Hello and welcome. I am Stacy Thomas, author, ALS advocate, film producer, and talk show host. I'm here to motivate, educate, and entertain. Join me on YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Stacy Thomas Talk Show, where we have powerful discussions centered around health, relationship, careers, and everyday conversation. Follow me on Facebook, I am Stacy Thomas. On Instagram, Stacy Thomas Talk Show. And don't forget, I can promote you too. Email me at iamstacythomas@gmail.com. Now, it's time for the show. Hey, everybody. I am your host, Stacy Thomas. Thank you for watching, and for those over on YouTube and IG. For those of you who will hear the show by audio on WYAD 94.1 in Mississippi, that's Yazoo, Mississippi, and also on Cool 101.2 Pop digital streaming out of Richmond, Virginia. Before we start the show, I have to say something to you guys. I always like to remind you to be thankful, but I got something else I want to say. Be mindful of how you treat strangers. You will never know who God will have you sitting beside at a table. You will never know who God will have standing beside you in a line. My guest tonight, I got to tell you, Stacy's not big on strangers all the time. My sister invited me to a table. There was a man, nice looking man sitting at the table, but I didn't know him, right? I said, do I want to sit at the table? I don't know him. Look at God. Watch how you treat strangers. Let's welcome him. Michael G. Hawkins, hello.
Well, good evening, Stacy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Michael. Thank you for blessing my platform tonight.
Well, thank you for having me. This is a new experience for me, and I'm enjoying it.
A new experience. How is it a new experience for a man that performs in front of people all the time? How's that new?
Well, believe it or not, it's it's easier to play a flute than it is to talk. Because I played with a couple of other groups, a salsa group, and I also played with an R&B group. And the salsa group has singers, and I listen to them sing, and it's just amazing how the voices come together. And to me, it's easy just to blow through a horn and finger the notes, but with the voices, you have to actually know how to breathe in addition to singing the right notes, and it's not easy. So same thing with talking. I could play better with talking. So,
are you an introvert?
I used to be. I used to be an introvert. But as I got older, I began to become more people oriented. So, and I guess by me playing in front of audiences, that has allowed me to become more less of an introvert than before.
Less of an introvert. Yes. Well, meeting you, like I said at the beginning of the show, and this has happened to me a couple of times. I'm standing somewhere and I'm standing beside someone I don't know. In some kind of way, we start talking, and I get very curious. I'm in awe at how God shows up and works. Yes, I really am. I am thankful that I sat at the table beside you. And I know I had 50 questions for you. I said, is he going to be like this lady's asking too many questions? But meeting an African-American man playing the flute, it's not as though there are no African-American men playing the flute. I just never met one. It's always the saxophone or the trumpet or the drums.
Yes.
So my question for you is, was there a moment when you knew the flute wasn't just an instrument for you, but your calling?
Well, let me share with you how I got started with the flute. I started in the 5th grade, believe it or not. And I remember going to the music store, and my dad was with me. And so I wanted to play the saxophone because during that time, it was perceived that the flute was a girl's instrument, and the saxophone was the cool guy's instrument. So I wanted to play saxophone. And then when my dad looked at the price, and at that time, this was back in the mid 70s, it was $600 back then. So the saxophone is not a cheap instrument. Right. And so my dad looked at the saxophone. He looked at the price of the flute, which was the cheapest, and he looked at the price of a clarinet. And he looked at that. He said, "Okay, boy, you're not getting no saxophone. It's too expensive. He said, you either play the flute or play the clarinet or play nothing. And I reluctantly chose the flute, and I, you know, tinkered with the flute for a little while. And then I just said, I can't play the flute. I was always the only boy in the band at the time,
Uh-huh.
and when I was in school. And so I just put the flute down for 3 years. I said, I'm not doing this. And so my dad being in the military, we moved to Germany and stayed there for 3 years. And meanwhile, during that time, the flute was stayed up under the bed collecting dust. And my mom told me, she said, look, if you're not going to play the flute, we just need to go and get rid of it. And something, I don't know what it is. Maybe it was God speaking to me during that time as a little boy. Something just said, no, don't give it up. And one night, my parents took me over to a restaurant, and there was a guy playing the flute. And my mom looked at me and she said, see, guys do play the flute. I'd love to be able to play it like he did. And then as I got older, when I came back to the United States, I was in high school at that point, and the thought came to me, wow, playing the flute with a bunch of girls, that's a good way to meet girls. So that's what got me back into the flute, and I've been playing ever since. But I said all that to say that, for those of you who might have a talent, or and you pretty much leave it dormant, you can always rekindle it, because, like I said, the flute stayed under my bed for 3 years. I didn't touch it. And then when I finally got back into it, just from seeing that one guy play, that's what got me going. And I've been going ever since.
I love it. I love how you told us that story, but I got to tell you now, you think it was the girls, okay? You think it was the girls. And it could have been, but it always amazes me when I talk to people and we start with something, we put it down, but if it's meant for you to do it, you always go back to it.
Yeah. And then I
You
always
know?
say God comes down to our level too. So he comes down to my level, and he had to use girls to get me into it. And so I've been going.
Wow. Wow. And people pick up an instrument and they always have one genre. Well, most of the time they have that one genre. It's the same thing with people that sing. You blend genres like R&B, gospel, jazz, and salsa. How did you decide which song you need to pick when you're going to perform?
Well, first of all, I need to get an idea of what kind of event it's going to be. If I'm playing at a restaurant, for example, that tells me there's going to be a variety of people there. So I'll maybe will mix it up. I'll play a little bit of R&B. I may play a little bit of. In fact, I even played at a country western wedding one time. And if you can imagine a country western flute, that was a new experience for me. So I played that, and so really, I just have to get a feel for where I'm going to go, and that'll give me an idea of what kind of audience is going to be uh, listening to me. And even when I play, I'm very perceptive. I look at the audience to read them, and sometimes it's hard to read them because you'll have somebody who'll be sitting here like, you know, and I'm sitting there going, I'm sitting there like, and then at the end he'll be like, "Great job!" I'm like, "Really?" So sometimes it's hard to read the audience, but I try to be as perceptive as I can to read the audience. Now, one thing that really does bless me is if I'm playing the flute and I'll just see somebody, they'll be like, "Yeah," like they actually see God
Wow.
ministering to them. And I would say this, I tell people, yeah, I'm a Christian, and but I do play some not only just gospel music but other kinds of music, because I look at it like this: God created all music.
That's right.
And I mean, you have people who can play from the heart, and what's inside of you is going to manifest. And believe it or not, music is, I guess you could say, it's more like it's a tool. And what it does, it actually lifts up those who hear it. Now, on the flip side, music can be destructive too. There's certain kinds of music that I will not play. But
Okay.
like I said before, music is a very powerful tool. It can either uplift you or it can tear you down. And like, for example, the blues, I don't have anything against the blues, but if I'm having a sad day or I'm going through some challenge, the last thing I want to do is hear blues. And I want to hear
That's
something
right.
that uplifts me.
Right.
So I look at music as being a tool to be used to help people and uplift them. In fact, even my song, "Peace and Happiness," um, I created that song by me going through a challenging time. And people listen to that song along with some other songs that I have on my project at michaelghawkins.com. And they people tell me that it's uplifting to them. So my thinking is that if I get positive feedback like that, then my job is done.
Your job is done.
Yes.
I love how you're not just looking at it as a money making tool, but you mentioned how it's important that people enjoy it and that they're blessed by it. I
Yeah.
really like that, you know. And music is something that we really have to watch. What we listen to, it is indeed.
Yes.
Music has a way of helping you be in a good mood. Music has a way of having you about to lose your mind and do something you shouldn't do. Them
Exactly.
blues will get you sad and have you thinking.
Right. Yeah, I'm having a blue moment. So no,
Right,
yeah.
right. Is there one particular genre that causes you to be very creative?
No, it varies. And the reason why I
Very.
say this is because if you listen to music carefully, you'll hear clips from multiple genres. Like, say, for example, gospel, contemporary gospel. Um, I've heard some gospel songs that had uh, some parts of music from secular songs from the 70s,
Mm-hmm,
80s. So
mm-hmm.
a lot of times I look at it like this: it's the person who's behind the music. uh, what is inside is going to come out. Just like for poetry, you have a poet. They will write something. They're basically writing what's inside. I remember when I was in high school, we used to have to look at it was American poetry, and one of the poets we had to study was Edgar Allan Poe. And I first of all I couldn't get into literature at all, but I had to because it was part of my requirements when I was in high school. And I was reading some of his poetry, like The Raven, and some of these others, and it was dark and gloomy, and it's like ugh. But then I come to find out later on that Edgar Allan Poe was a cocaine addict. So a lot of times, what's inside of a person is going to come out through their music, and it took me a long time to realize that.
Wow. So to go back to, you're talking about the music some music you won't play. How does your faith influence the way you play? If you're not doing gospel, let's say you're doing jazz, how does
Mhm.
faith play a part in that?
I think it's all in how you carry yourself. I remember playing at a restaurant one evening, and I don't know what song um, I was playing at the time, but one of the waiters that was there, at the end, he told me, he said, I got to tell you, he said, there was one song that you played, and it really made me feel better. It uplifted me. And I played secular music. I played like Earth, Wind, and Fire music. I played Sade, and it's just a variety of music. But he told me that he said that you made me feel better after listening to you. So that's why I don't limit myself to just any one particular genre. Plus, at the same time, it helps me to be diversified. Uh,
Right,
so those are the things that I find. The more diversified you are, the more adaptable you are.
right. And it's been said that sometimes you have to meet people where they are.
Exactly.
Someone
Yes.
may be there for a jazz concert, but look at you, the music is causing them to think about things other than just jazz. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And we're gonna have a chance to, for those of you who are watching and who will be listening, we're gonna play his is it Peace and Love?
Peace and happiness.
Peace and Happiness. Look, got me thinking about love. Okay. Uh, so you performed. I loved when I wrote the like heading for my post on Facebook. You performed not only in the United States but in Switzerland. I gotta ask you, what was going through your mind the first time you was actually in front of an international audience?
Well, it was. I didn't know what to expect. But I will say this though, vividly remember, this was actually back in 1990. I remember that's the year that I went to Switzerland, and I was actually going with a gospel group,
Okay.
and you can see how God put this together because when we went, there was a piano player, it was myself, and it was a person who played the marimba, which is that's a big instrument. That thing had 12. cases that you had to put in, and we had to haul all that back to Switzerland. Now, when we got there, we didn't have a bass player. Um, and it just so happens that we met a guy from Sweden who played the bass. He had a good ear, spoke broken English, but when we played it, he blended in and sounded like we were playing for years. But there was this one particular guy that I remember. He was from Romania. Now, some of the viewers, y'all probably may not know how Europe was back in the early '70s. Europe back then is not like it is now. So back when I was in Europe, you had East Germany and you had West Germany. You had Eastern Europe and Western Europe.
Right.
Eastern Europe pretty much was controlled by the Soviet Union, and there was a guy from Romania. Romania was a communist country that was ruled by Russia during that time, and they allowed him to come to Switzerland to it was a conference that we went to, and he came, but his family couldn't go.
Oh,
And the
wow.
reason why was because they didn't want him to defect. So that's why they said you can go to Switzerland, but your family can't go.
Right. Keep the
And,
family at home. He'll come
right,
back.
right, to give you the incentive to come back and not defect. And so when he came, he was just amazed at how the music sounded. And I met this couple from Seattle, Washington. They cried when we played Amazing Grace. They cried, And so all these people were just moved by music we were just playing. We were just playing, just have a good time. But these people were just moved by all of these things that we're playing. And then this one particular guy, the guy getting back to the one from Romania, he told me, he said, "You all don't know how blessed you all are." He said, y'all can go anywhere you want to go. I can't go anywhere I want to go. I couldn't bring my family with me to see you all because of the fact that the communist government told them that they had to stay. And I mean, he spoke broken English, but he said enough for us to know exactly what he was talking about. And I know a lot of the things that are going on now could be kind of negative, but once you get a chance to go to a foreign country, even live in a foreign country, there's even a difference between visiting a foreign country and living in a foreign country. Visiting, you go for a certain period of time and you come back. But when you live there for a long period of time, you begin to learn the customs and you have to blend with the customs. And you'll see that there's much of appreciation for this country when you come back to the United States. I know a lot of stuff is going on now, but still, there's nothing like compared to what's going on overseas.
Wow. And please forgive my ignorance when it comes to music, right? I know I've heard Spanish music and I've heard reggae, and I may not understand everything that's been said, but I can enjoy the music, right? But are you telling me that you can be somewhere playing music and have other individuals who don't understand your language, don't really know your song, but they can join in because of the music and everybody's on the same, like doing the same thing?
Exactly right. Music is universal.
Yeah.
All you need is a good beat, a good tune, and it touches people in different ways. So yes, music is universal. You have some cultures that have a certain kind of music, like you said, reggae, for example. But at the same time, uh, you have other styles of music that are prevalent, and it just, like I said, it's a crossover.
Wow. Now, let me tell you something. Music, good music is something I love. Good music can motivate you. But I saw in your bio, she is definitely one that brings me up when I'm down. Shirley Caesar.
Uh-huh.
So you opened with a band at the Arthur Ashe Center in Richmond, Virginia for Shirley Caesar. Tell me about that experience and what did it teach you, or did it teach you anything about your purpose and preparation?
Number one, the value of being prepared, and number two, through networking. Because I was playing with a band, and actually, I believe it or not, I didn't play flute. I played guitar
You
with
play the
that.
guitar too?
Well, not anymore like I used to, but I played guitar with that band, and we opened up for Shirley Caesar. But I've had more of a demand for the flute, and I really haven't had the need for the guitar other than when I'm using it to compose music with my chords and all. But as far as that's concerned, um, preparation is key because you don't first of all you don't know who's watching you.
Right, right.
And somebody can call you at the spur of the moment and say, "Well, can you play such and such?" And you can't tell them, "Oh, well, let me practice and get ready and call me a month from now when I'm ready." No, you have to be ready at all times. So I would say the key thing that I learned from that is preparation.
Wow. And before we see the video of you showing off your gift, tell us, what's the one performance that you never forget? And not, I don't want to know the most perfect performance. I want to know the performance that really touched you that you never forget
The performance of Switzerland.
in Switzerland.
Yeah, that was, like I said, that was very memorable. And that happened back in 1990, so that tells you how much of an impact it's had on me because I still remember it to this day. But I mean, I'd never been to Switzerland. Stayed there for a week. Actually, we were in a place called Co, and that's spelled Caux, and it's a mountain village that overlooks the city of Montreux, and it's very pretty. Like the Lake Geneva is 100 miles long. It looks like an ocean. But I met people from all over the world. There was a couple that I told you before. There's a couple from Seattle. There was a group of people who came from Africa, Japan. So it was an international event that we had, and we were one of the guest musicians to play at that event. So that was very memorable, and
Very
I
memorable.
wish I'd like to go back again just to see how much has changed.
Well, you can go back.
Yeah,
You can
when
go
it's a little
back.
safer to fly.
I'd like I'd like to take a moment to share one of your performances. You
Okay.
said this is a song that you wrote with a lot of feeling.
Yes, I was actually going through a challenging time, and a lot of times, and I'm sure other musicians would tell you, songs will come to them when they're going through good times or bad times. And this particular song called "Peace and Happiness" was given to me. I believe it was God given because if you listen to it, you can hear the part where you'll start to feel peace, and then near the end of the song, that's when you'll start getting happiness feelings. I guess if you're a musician, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And those who are not musicians are probably looking at me going, "Huh?" So you just have to hear it for yourself. And if you like it, please download it off my website, michaelghawkins.com.
And we do have that. Let's see, we do have that right there. So we're gonna take a look at this. Michael, and you're gonna have to take yourself off of mute.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay. Okay.
I loved it. I loved it. I want to see a live performance. And I gotta ask you this because when I read my books, it's like I forget and I laugh. My son says to me one time, "Really?" And I said, "Really? You laugh at yourself, right?" When I watch my live videos, I laugh. I make myself laugh. I learn
Mhm.
from myself. It's like God gives me something to say. I go back and listen and I get it. When you watch yourself play, and that was on Virginia Morning,
Virginia this morning.
Virginia this morning. Man,
Yes.
you're hitting major platforms, okay? When you watch yourself, what are you thinking?
I guess you could say I need more rhythm because my head was just going like this. One thing I can say as a musician, I've never was blessed with being a dancer. I've never thought about being a dancer. Don't have an interest in being a dancer. And I just play the music and let those who can dance let them wiggle to it. So,
Wow. Daya, thank you. Daya Rogers, she's been making comments and thank you for joining us. She says that was awesome. Wasn't it,
thank you, Naya.
sweetheart? I'm gonna have to catch a live show and post it when I see you post something. Now, I wanted to make sure I have that on there. Let's see. Okay, so we've got my www.michaelghawkins.com. That is how people can hear more and reach out to you.
Yeah, that is correct. There's a total of 9 songs on there. Each song you can hear 60 seconds of it, and whatever song you like, you can download it to your computer or your cell phone. There's only 99 cents to download each song. If you like the whole thing, download all of them. But like I said, you can hear 60 seconds of each song. This particular project is a combination of jazz and gospel. I like to call it gospel. Okay.
Gospel.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Like this song you heard a few minutes ago, that's more of a jazz song, but there are other songs on there. There's a jazz version of Amazing Grace that's on there, and I was surprised that a lot of people like that too. So I encourage you to go on the website and download whatever song you like, or download all of them. That would be a blessing to me, also.
Be a blessing to you. And we'll make sure that I'll go back and I'll also show some of your other work that you've that you've done. Tell me, Michael, before you go on stage, I've been curious about this. You know, I think it may be the same for someone that's doing a speaking engagement. I'm not sure. How do you prepare yourself before you go on stage, knowing that you will be filmed on Virginia, on a major Virginia platform, when you're performing in Switzerland, when you're performing at the Arthur Ashe Center, when you're performing at weddings? How do you prepare yourself for that?
But first of all, practice.
Practice.
Practice is important. One thing that I do before every event that I play at, one of my prayers, and I don't mean to sound preachy enough like that.
It's okay.
What I pray as a God, please move to the music that I play and to touch the hearts of those who hear it. And I pray that prayer before every event that I play, even when I'm playing with the salsa group or with the R&B group that I play with. I play with two other bands and also do solo gigs. And every time that I play or we play, my prayer is that we play the music, that God moves to the music that I play and it touches the hearts of those who hear it. And like I said, a lot of times my prayers will get answered when people will come back and they'll tell me, you really made me feel good, feel better after I heard your music. So that's confirmation that my prayer was answered.
I love that, and I believe, in all honesty, I think that's why. And I tell people I'm not bragging about the people that come on my platform, but I do believe when we bring God into things and
Yes,
don't think it's all about us, that things will work out for the good. You know what
yes,
I mean? I
definitely.
do believe that.
Yeah.
What for those that are watching or listening, what type of events will you perform at? What type of venues?
Uh, Weddings, funerals. I play at different restaurants. If a restaurant invites me to play, I can play there. Actually, I had an interesting experience last year. I played at a funeral in the Northern Virginia, Maryland area. That was my first time I had ever played at an African funeral. Most of the people that were there were from Cameroon.
Really?
Yeah, that was an interesting experience. In fact, I was invited to play twice. There was a lady who had lost her, I think it was her brother, and lost her sister and lost her mother, and she asked me to play both times, and I drove from Richmond to southern part of Maryland to play. I mean, she saw one of my ads on Gig Salad, and never heard of me, but she reached out, and I guess she took a step of faith and reached out to me and expressed an interest in me playing, and I played, and she invited me twice. It's unfortunate that it happened at such a sad event, but it was nice to know that she invited me to play both times at this event. So that tells me when people keep asking you to come back, that's very good. And also, there's a certain level when you had mentioned earlier about preparation. One of the things that I always like to do is I like to get there early, because it's unfortunate, but we always talk about this thing about CP time. Well, first of all, I don't like that.
Right, right.
So I don't want to confirm that stereotype. So a lot of
Right.
times, like this evening, when this event was going to start at 7, I was on here at 6:30.
Yes, yes, you were. Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
And if I'm running late, I'll call and let somebody know that there are things that were beyond my control. I can't get there as early as I like, but I'm going to get there as fast as I can. But a lot of times it involves professional presentation too. In addition to the talent, you got to have the presentation. So the way you carry yourself. I mean, and even though it is music, it's still a business too. I guess you could say it's a ministry and it's a business, and you have to present yourself in a business professional manner. So yeah, so if I have an event and I have a sound system that I take with me, I like to get there at least an hour before the event so I can get my equipment set up.
Wow. Daya says, I am Stacey Thomas. God has blessed Michael G. Hawkins to check off your awesome and amazing platform.
Well, thank you.
Excuse me. Daya, thank you. It is
Thank
a
you.
blessing. I listen, I always tell people. And once again, I said, Stacey, I'm not bragging. And Daya said years ago, and I'll never forget, Daya says, don't get mad at me. And I'm going to add something. Don't get mad at me for the guests that come on the show. Take it up with God. It's all him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all God. So, Michael, for those of us that want to see you play, do you have anything coming up in the Central Virginia area or somewhere else?
Well, I do have some events coming up, but they're actually with the salsa group. There is an event coming up. I don't know if anybody is in the Petersburg area, but there's a restaurant called Pablo's that we'll be performing at in about 2 weeks. It's on a Friday evening. So I'll
Okay.
be playing with the salsa group. So it won't be just me, it'll be the group. So
Okay.
yeah, so yeah,
Tag me in it. I'd like to come out. That's not too far for me to drive.
okay.
And
Yeah.
my
Actually check out my Facebook page too, because if you go to Michael
it
P.
is
Hawkins, I usually post my events on my Facebook page.
okay. All right. And that you said your Facebook page is Michael G. Hawkins.
Yes, yes. And when you
Okay.
go to that page, you'll see a picture of a flute uh, laying on the table in a gold brown background, but you'll see it. You'll see the flute there, and you'll see Michael G. Hawkins. And I always call that my music resume. So if you scroll down my Facebook page, you'll
Your
see all the
resume.
events that I've done within the last 10 years. You'll see all of the events that I've
Wow.
played at, it just keeps growing. This is going to be added to my Facebook page once everything is finalized.
Wow.
Let people know that I'm not a scam artist, okay? Because when people don't know you, they say you
You,
play the flute. I'm like,
excuse
yeah.
me.
And so, like you said, a black man played the flute. So
Well, it's funny how you say it lets people know you're not a scam artist because someone's coming on my show, I guess in about a month, and I met her on the side of the road while watching the monks early on a cold morning with a skull
uh-huh,
cap on my head, a
uh-huh,
big flannel jacket. And I said to her, Michael, she tells me what she's doing there. And I tell her about my show because she's interested. Here we go again.
uh-huh.
And before we leave, I said, be sure to check out my Facebook page. So, because I'm not looking the part today, because
Yeah,
Michael, a
yeah,
sister was not looking like she does a talk show. Okay.
yeah.
But my
But you said
last
I make
question,
sure.
Huh?
So I was saying, I'll give you another example. Like if I'm going into a restaurant and in the jazz arena, most people they're conditioned to either hear the saxophone or the trumpet or the guitar.
Okay.
And then I'll tell them, I said, well, I play the flute, and they'll look at me like they'll say, flute. Because they cannot conceptualize the fact that a flute can be a jazz instrument. They always think of flute being in like a classical genre.
Right,
And
right.
so they're like, flute. But then when they hear me, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know a flute could sound like that. Oh, and then it'd be videos. And oh.
It's
So
something
I
how
go through that frequently.
it's something how we associate certain things with certain genres, right?
Exactly.
And the flute, I have to admit, watching your video, I learned, hey, a flute is can be used for different genres also.
Yeah.
I went to a symphony one time. I was a little bored a couple times, and then it was the string section. The man, a Russian guy, was playing the violin. Michael, I sat up, I was kind of slumped back a little bit, waiting for another good song, blah, blah, blah. And the man started playing that violin, Michael. And I'm not even going to lie. I said to myself, is he flirting with me? As if he had his eye on me.
They woke you up.
And that was the violin. Look, oh my goodness. My last question for you, Michael, is
Okay.
if your flute could say one sentence, if it could talk, what would it be?
Please listen to me.
Please listen to me.
And download my music.
Please listen to me. I like that. I really like that. Let's see. Oh, Daya and her Daya, thank you with all her laughing and
I
smiling.
like Daya. Where's Daya from?
Daya,
Yes.
Daya, will you please write it? I don't want to tell your business. Tell me.
I mean, what state? I mean, I'm not trying to get you on.
Okay, I'm gonna say. Well, you know what? I'm not telling where she lives. She's from Hopewell. I'm from
Oh, okay,
Hopewell.
okay.
Daya's from Hopewell. Very I'll say this. She's a couple years younger than me.
Okay.
Long story short, my mother came down with ALS disease.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
And when an ALS disease patient has problems swallowing,
Yeah.
Daya, who sees me on Facebook, knows me, but probably knows my sisters more. She comes up with the one way that we can feed my mother: oversized Jello shooters. She comes down to Virginia from where she lives to
Wow.
bring the Jello shooters and to pray for my mother.
Wow.
Daya is very, very. Oh, my first book signing. Look at me shouting Daya out. She drives down when my first book signing, and she brings these cupcakes with the cover of my books set up on each cupcake.
Okay.
Michael, she's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
She's awesome. Michael, this has been great.
This has been great. I had a great time.
I'm glad you did, and I'll be watching you. And if you have an event, please feel free to let me know. Tag me in it so I can share with others, and keep doing what you're doing. And tell us one more time how we can listen to more of your music.
You can go to my Facebook page. You can also download my music from michaelghawkins.com. Like I said before, you can listen to each song. There's 9 of them on there. You can listen to 60 seconds of each one of them, and whatever one you like, please download them to your laptop or your cell phone, and just enjoy.
Wow. Thank you, Michael.
But thank you, Stacey, for having me. I have a great time.
Have a great one. Hey, wasn't that another great interview? You guys, be sure to follow Michael G. Hawkins on Facebook if you want to see more of what he can do. Thank you for all of you who are tuning in. Daya, thank you. Continue blessings to you both. Daya, thank you, and thank you for telling us to have a blessed night. And for those of you who are local, I just want to tell you this. February 21st, Petersburg, Virginia, I'm having one of the goats. I'm having a goat coming to Virginia. The Business Block, another segment of this show, is bringing Conversations Media Group CEO Cyrus Webb. It will be for those of you who would like to learn about being an influencer, marketing, or podcasting. If you're interested in attending the event, I said he's a goat. Okay, Google him. Not only that, Cyrus has been gifted by Amazon gifts. Amazon knows about the event. Amazon knows that one of their top influencers are coming to Petersburg, Virginia. We're going to get free gifts. They're going to be a drawing for each gift now. Don't think everybody that walked through the door going to get a gift. But then again, I don't know. You guys have a great night. And as I always like to say, don't stress too much about yesterday. Don't worry too much about tomorrow, because if you do, if we do, we just might miss living today. Thank you.